Seems like I'm having a bad beard day. Fuck it. Hi, everybody. Sensei back here. Before I get started, as I always say, please like, subscribe, share, comment on this channel. Helps the algorithm out, helps the channel grow, and continue on growing past 300 mark that we hit recently. Today's video is gonna be different. I'm not focusing in on a video game per se and talking about it today. I'm focusing more on a feature that the Xbox Series consoles do offer from day one of it launching. Now, um, for context, I've had the Xbox Series X since it launched in November, over a year ago. So I've had that console as my preferred console for quite some time. I don't have the PS5. I do have a PS4 Pro and a Nintendo Switch. So this I say this because what I'm about to go into has a lot to do with. It comes from a place of support. Um, that could get confused a lot of the times in the gaming community. But I want to talk about today, if you haven't figured it out yet, Quick Resume is what I want to talk about in this video. Quick Resume, for those who don't know, is a feature that they've introduced to the series consoles when it launched, where it takes your game and suspends it, meaning that it puts it in a cloud space, suspended until you decide to return to that game, whether it be 5 minutes later, an hour, a week, or a month, or a year later, and you resume that same game. It'll quick resume. That's the tag here. Quick resume in that suspended place. So, for example, if you are in a part of the game where you just beat a boss and you have to go, turn off at that moment, and you want to continue at a different time, you can. You turn it off, and you will like quick resume right back into that wherever that area left off at. You can even play other games in the meantime, and it'll actually have you go back to that game. So if you played Assassin's Creed and then you went on to play a different game, say, I don't know, Call of Duty, and then you went back to Assassin's Creed, it'll suspend you right back into where you left off at Assassin's Creed. In theory is how it works. Now this feature has been updated in recent times, where you can now choose which games you want quick resuming every time. Like like you can pin the game for quick resume, so that way it never gets lost in the shuffle. And I believe you can do up to games on quick resume, but you can pin them now so that it doesn't give you the last 5 games you played. It'll keep the whatever you have pinned. It won't disrupt that. It'll stay there no matter how many games you play after that. With that being said, I want to talk to you guys about my experience with quick resume, the goods and the bads of it. Now, with quick resume, with what I just said, it's a great feature. Now, when I first started off playing my Series X, I experienced that. That's one of the first things I attacked. I went on to just experience it myself. Having the game Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I went ahead and tried it myself. I was climbing buildings and do what you usually do in Assassin's Creed. At one point, I found myself getting one of those areas of the towers where you do a 360 spin and you open up the area of the map. And then I started hanging off the ledge of the tower. I literally turned off the console and then turned it back on, and I bypassed all the main menu stuff on Assassin's Creed. I all that, it just went straight into me literally still hanging off the side of the building. And that moment for me was like, whoa. That moment for me solidified that I just got myself a next gen console, and that this feature was the next gen feature that I didn't know I was missing. The way I play, I'm always jumping from game to game to game. That's how I play video games. Yes, A to D, I know, I've been told, but that's how I play the games, and it's it's a neat feature to have when you play that, when that's your play style. Even if you didn't play that many games, still a quick neat play style. Let's say you only played one game and you want to quick resume to that one game, it's still pretty neat because it saves you time in the sense of you're bypassing main menus and loading up save points, all that kind of stuff, and you're going right back to where you left off at without having to worry about how do I get back to that point again, because they put you at a checkpoint. Um, Now, through the course of the time I've had this console for about over a year now, I've played different games. I play a lot of I play like Apex Legends, Warzone, Call of Duty multiplayer. Most recently, Elden Ring. Now, the games I played are a mixture at this point, but I'm more of a live service multiplayer kind of a gamer. You know what I'm saying? So what's been going on is that quick resume does not work well with games like that. Right now, as of right now, it doesn't. it doesn't quick resume. It can't quick resume, and it shouldn't quick resume into a multiplayer game, whether it be a battle royale or a regular team deathmatch. It won't do that. It shouldn't do that because you can't. How can you drop me back in a game that existed 3 hours ago? So that makes sense. I'm hoping that there's some tweaking to that, some sort of modification to it, tweaking and quality of life improvements to it, where they figure some type of way where I'm still bypassing main menus and the game's not being weird and giving me error codes. Because what I've experienced is exactly that. Like, even though I don't want to quick resume into these games because I know that it's a multiplayer game, it still attempts to do it and it crashes me. It gives me like error codes. It'll make the game go bonkers with bugs. And it's been reported before that because of quick resume, some games are buggy because of that. Trying to resume back. It's Outriders, the game that I remember that did that. That Dying Light 2 does that as well, where you try to quick resume and the game will give you an error. Period. Even if you're not trying to quick resume into a game that was multiplayer, was just you playing single player. It just feels like any game, whether it be single player or not, if it has a multiplayer component to it, whether it be co-op or whatever, the traditional free for all deathmatch multiplayer or battle royale, that it's causing the game to error out and give you these weird bugs in the game, hard crash and stuff like that. Most recently, Halo does that too, where you can't quick resume into Halo. It kind of messes that game up. There are games that it works for, but I'm noticing that it's a lot of single players that it works for, which makes sense. But then there's that other issue that I have, or concern that I have, that with games like I mentioned, I played Elden Rings. I logged in 300 hours in that game, and I've noticed with that game that when you try to quick resume, it'll give you a message of it wasn't saved properly, it errored out, and you would have to refresh the game and start all and go through the main menu stuff again and load up your save point again. Now, it'll put you back in your checkpoint, which is a great thing. That's needed. That's a good thing. But the quick resume feature, a part of that, doesn't kick in. It'll actually mess up the game. And that's what I've been experiencing, recently, or not recently, but in the last year. That's what I've experienced. When it works, it works, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. Now, I have to point out in this video as well that one of the best things that I've experienced with quick resume, other than the first time I was hanging off a building with Assassin's Creed and I continued on that part, is there was a time where I had to move from one room to another in my house, and in doing so, I had to unplug the actual console from the wall, from the power unit. And I've seen videos in the community talking about how it still resumes your play when you do that, but I still have my concerns because I had never experienced it myself personally. Um, with that being said, I had to unplug it anyways, and then when I moved to room, it was about 2 or 3 hours in between of me moving from room to room, relocating everything. That when I powered it back on and it booted itself up, that I was able to quickly go right back into my. This was when I was playing Call of Duty. I was playing single player at the time. I didn't have. All I had at the time was just the campaign loaded in. I didn't, you can choose your files, multiplayer and all that was not even there. I just had only campaign, and it let me quick resume into that single player experience that fast. And at that moment, I'm like, holy shit, that's a great experience. Like, think about it, powering off the console, and then you can still. Mine was only 2 or 3 hours experience, and I've heard people have it off for a week and still resume back where they were at once they plug it back in. That's a cool quality of life feature because think about it. I just move from room to room, but you got people who travel for life for career. They travel, and they bring this Xbox on the road with them. You have to unplug it. Whether you're driving to the next location, you're flying to the next location, or doing a little bit of both, and then you get to the hotel room or wherever you're staying at, and you plug it back in to know that your stuff is still there. It didn't corrupt. It didn't go bad. You can still play it. That's a cool feature. That's a really good feature. That is next gen to me. I also want to say that something like Quick Resume will be a great feature on the PlayStation. I really do think so on the PlayStation 5 because single player experience does exist over there with the God of Wars, which by the way I cannot wait for that game. But with the God of Wars and your Ghost of Tsushima, and whatever the Ratchet and Clank, Spider Man, like they have these games that are single player experience, phenomenal single player experiences that I think the Quick Resume will take advantage of pretty well. But with that being said, that's what brings me to the end of this video. I just wanted to, let you guys know how I feel, my thoughts on Quick Resume after playing with the console for over a year. I'll resume regular videos again starting tomorrow, but for now I wanted to put this video out there. And I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Quick Resume? Does it work for you? How do you play? How do you play your Xbox? And how does it work for you or not work for you? How would you improve it? Sound off in the comments if you don't mind. Again, thank you for watching another one of my videos. My name is Sensei. Happy fucking gaming, guys.